Hi everyone, my name is Tuan Nguyen, an attorney at law at ANT Lawyers, a law firm in Vietnam. I'm here today to talk to you about a subject that we feel is of great importance. Our objective is to try to give you an update on the cosmetic regulations in Vietnam. Our presentation is organized in three parts. Part 1 will be an introduction of ANT Lawyers law firm. Part 2 will be covering an overview of cosmetic market in Vietnam. In the last part, which is the main part, we are covering the overview of cosmetic regulations. As an extra to that, we will briefly talk about setting up a trading company in Vietnam in cosmetics. ANT Lawyers is a law firm in Vietnam with offices in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. We are a licensed law firm and we are also a part of an international law firm network covering more than 150 jurisdictions globally. We mainly assist foreign clients in entering Vietnam doing business. In cosmetic business, we do assist clients in setting up a trading company, advised about the process, the licensing, the sub-licensings, and the compliance matters. We are now briefing about the cosmetic market in Vietnam in part 2. The market of cosmetic in Vietnam in terms of sales revenue is estimated at around 150 USD in terms of $1 million a year. There are more than 430 cosmetic brands on the market, of which 90% are from foreign-owned companies. South Korea accounts for around 30%, EU account for 23%, Japan 17%, Thailand about 13%, and US account for about 10% of the brands. Korean brands are more popular because of reasonable price, suitable anti-aging product for Vietnamese. The Vietnam cosmetic market is potential when the average spend per person on cosmetic is about $4 per person per year, compared with Taiwan at about $41, South Korea about $40, Hong Kong $35, and Thailand about $20. Further, Vietnam has a growing mid-income consumer group with more than 92 million people of population. Now, in part 3, we will focus on regulations and procedures that cosmetic product, trader, manufacturers have to comply with. There are a number of regulatories of concern, being number 1, the ASEAN Harmonized Cosmetic Regulatory Scheme that Vietnam signed off since 2003. The next one is Circular 6 issued by the Ministry of Health in 2011 that regulates the cosmetics in Vietnam, cosmetic management in Vietnam. Number 3 is the Decision 24 issued also by the Ministry of Health in 2006 that regulates the application and guidance of principles, standards of the good practice manufacturing of cosmetics of ASEAN. The next one is the official letter 6577 issued by the Drug Administration Department of the Ministry of Health that regulates the substance used in cosmetics manufacturing. And the next one is the official letter 1609 issued also by the Drug Administration Department of the Ministry of Health that implement the ASEAN's treaty in categorizing cosmetics, notifying functions, utilities of cosmetic. About the ASEAN Harmonized Cosmetic Regulatory Scheme in 2003, September 2nd, on behalf of the government of Vietnam, the Vietnam Minister of Trade and Commerce signed an agreement on the ASEAN Harmonized Cosmetic Regulatory Scheme in which the terms specified in the agreement is fully implemented since January 1st, 2008. The agreement aims to unify cosmetic management in the ASEAN countries and is toward a common market of ASEAN, strengthen cooperation between state members in ensuring safety, quality, and the beneficial feature of all cosmetic products on the ASEAN market, and remove the restrictions on the cosmetic business between the member states through the harmonization of the technical regulations. Being a member of the agreement, Vietnam Cosmetic Regulations are fully compatible with the ASEAN Cosmetic Regulations. We will then review further detailed procedures for labeling, notifications or proclamation, import and place cosmetic product on market, and advertising. We will also go further to consider the factor impacting the decision on the mode of entrance entering Vietnam market to sell cosmetic products. For labeling of cosmetic product, the Vietnam law provides that the cosmetic product's label must be suitable for requirements of the cosmetic label writing set by the ASEAN. The following contents must be presented on the label: the product name and function, the usage instructions, the full formula ingredients, the country where the cosmetic product were made, the name and the address of the organizations or individuals who are responsible for placing product on the market, to be written fully in Vietnamese according to the business registration certificate or the investment license. The weight or the volume of the product, the manufacturer lot number, the manufacture date or the expiry date must be clearly presented in day, month, year, The expiry or the best using before date can be input if necessary, can add the instructed conditions needs to comply to make sure the product stability. And also the warning about the safety for usage. The current regulations also allow organizations and individuals to present other information on the label with the conditions that these information must not be opposite to the law and that it guarantees the honesty, the accuracy, the true reflection of the product's quality. For the presented language on the cosmetic label, the contents of the usage instructions, the name and the address of organizations or individuals who are responsible for placing the cosmetic product on the market, and the warning about the safety for usage must be written in Vietnamese. For the remaining information, the language could be in English or Vietnamese. For the labeling location, the cosmetic label must be printed on the commodity, the package of the commercial article on a location which is easy to be seen, a full regulated content without disconnecting the details or parts of the commodity, and that the information written on the label must be readable by the ordinary customers at the time of purchase and usage. Now comes the process or the procedures for proclamation. Under the Vietnam laws, a cosmetic product imported into Vietnam or even made in Vietnam must go through the procedures of proclamation before being placed on the market for sales. Organizations or individuals selling the cosmetic product on the market are permitted only when being issued the number of cosmetic product proclamation receipt by the authority, and he also has to be responsible for the safety, effectiveness, and quality of the product. The organizations or individuals placing the cosmetic product on the market must also have the function to sell the cosmetic business, to sell the cosmetic products in Vietnam. The cosmetic product manufacturers or the trader may themselves conduct the procedure in cosmetic product announcement or cosmetic product proclamation, or they could also authorize other organizations or individuals to do such. The procedures will be as following. The organizations or individuals wishing to proclaim the cosmetic product will need to apply and then pay the fee. The Drug Administration Department will record the application, check the document, and revert to the applicant within 3 to 5 days. The Drug Administration Department either approve or reject the application, and if approved, the Drug Administration will issue the receipt number for the proclamation. The Drug Administration will issue the notification to the applicant, and such notification will be valid. for 5 years. So what documents the applicant has to prepare? They have to prepare 2 copies of notification application forms filled in with the information. Also, the applicant's business registration or investment license. In case the application is made by the local distributor will need to show the power of attorney which the manufacturers or the international traders authorize the local distributor to apply. The next document is the valid certificate of free sales. For the certificate of free sales, they have to be issued by the current territory, and that must have been original or legally notarized and still have the validity. In case the certificate of free sales is not provided with the expiry date, it must have just been issued within 24 months, and the certificate of free sales must be legalized according to the provision of the law. And then the next one is the soft copy of notification application forms. In the next process, the import of cosmetics and distribute the cosmetic product on the market. How do we do that? In step 1, the importer will need to apply for the product proclamation, which is the number that we mentioned in the previous process. And number 2, the importer will need to show the customs authority the notification with the receipt number. And then the customs procedures will be done as normal, including showing the customs authority shipping documents, house bill of lading, invoice, packing list, certificate of origin, other quality documents, and of course a complete filled-in custom declaration form. So when the product is imported into Vietnam, before it could be distributed, could be placed on the market, the enterprise, the organizations or individuals responsible for placing the product on the market has to remember to file the product information before placing on the market. How do we do that? So the product information file are inclusive of 4 parts. Part number 1 will be the administrative documents and summary of products. Part number 2 will be the documents in regard to the material quality that makes that cosmetic product. In part number 3, those are the documents in regard to the product quality. Part number 4 will be the documents in regard to safety and efficiency. And this product information file has to be shown when being inspected by the authority. In this section, we will talk about the regulations on advertising of cosmetic products. cosmetic advertising could be implemented on the public device like TV, radio, newspapers, magazine panel, sales events, or even on internet or website. The organizations who are allowed to advertise or organize the seminar or the cosmetic product introduction event only when having the permission according to the regulations in Vietnam. And the cosmetic advertising content must be appropriate, which affirm the safety and the efficiency of the cosmetic and comply with the ASEAN's instruction of declaring the quality of the cosmetic product. The registration application of the cosmetic advertising are inclusive of the following documents. Number one is the registration applying of cosmetic advertising, seminar organization, and cosmetic introduction event. Those are the form provided by the authority to be filled in. The next document is the copy of cosmetic notification. And this document must be sealed by the organization or individuals who registers to advertise. Next document is the copy of business registration or the investment license, which should also be sealed or stamped by the organization or individuals who registers to advertise. And the next document is the power of attorney in case submitted by the local distributor. Other documents are the materials that explain the product's property or utilities in case the advertised content and the presented content at the seminar or the cosmetic introduction event shows the cosmetic properties and utilities which are outside the presented content in the cosmetic product proclamation report. The next document are the two advertisement scenarios, and such scenarios must clearly described in the pictures by the pictures, music, words which are going to be put into the advertisement, or two advertising samples which are going to be published. Or the document intend to show or published in the seminar or the cosmetic introduction event. The authority handling the registration file of cosmetic advertising is the health department, where the main office of organizations or individuals placing the product on the market is located. And after receiving the file receipt of the cosmetic advertising registration, and if the organization wished to advertise on other advertising devices under the local authorities, a place is different from the place where the advertisement registration file is sent, they must send an announcement in writing with the unauthorized copy of the regular cosmetic registration file receipt and all registered equivalent advertising content to the local health department where the advertising is going to be put into process before the advertisement implementation, at least 3 working days. Since the invitation of this event was sent out, A&T Lawyers has received a number of requests, some of which are in regard to the entrance mode. Therefore, we feel it is important to mention about setting up a foreign-owned company trading cosmetic in Vietnam as an extra note for your consideration. The investor could consider setting up his own trading company to distribute cosmetic products in Vietnam and carry out all the procedures as said earlier themselves. And the advantage of such is that the FDI investor will be able to be in control in terms of time of the process, expenses on the process, the effectiveness of the marketing plan, and that the investor could ensure the products distributed are the genuine products. It should be noted that, according to some research, illegal and unofficial imports are estimated to account for as much as 60% of sales of cosmetics in Vietnam. So what are the disadvantages of setting up its own foreign trading company? Of course, it will be a high investment. It takes time to exit if the product is not welcomed by the local market. And there might also be some operation risk or market risk. For considerations, the setting up of a foreign-owned trading company dealing in cosmetic could be the investment capital issue, which is quite high. The traditional or MLM distribution mode could also be considered. Should it be wholesales or should it be a retail ways of distribution? And the Vietnam authority will also need a detailed list of products to be distributed in Vietnam. It could not be a general trading company. And an alternative to that is that to use the local distributor.
Hello? What?
In the next part is the Q&A session. We have received a number of questions before the webinar, and here is our answer to such. The question number 1: has Vietnam fully implemented the ASEAN Harmonized Cosmetic Directive, the ACD? Our opinion is that yes, Vietnam has implemented the ASEAN Harmonized Cosmetic Directive. However, there might be some delay in the implementation of the law. As we can see, although Vietnam has ratified the treaty back in 2003 for the implementation in January 2008, but it has taken some time since for Vietnam to recently issue Circular 06 to provide guidance and instructions on the cosmetic management. Question number 2: does Vietnam vary from the regulation in any ways? The answer is Vietnam does not vary from the regulation in our opinion. However, as said earlier, there might have been some delay in terms of making sure the law in Vietnam match up with the regulations or the agreement on the ASEAN Harmonized Cosmetic Agreement. Question number 3: Does Vietnam require notification numbers on the cosmetic packages? Our answer is that no, Vietnam does not require the notification numbers to be printed on cosmetic packages. The reason is that the packaging might have already been done way before the proclamation or notification process are made in Vietnam. And then the product might also be produced and exported for other markets, not only Vietnam. Therefore, there should not be requirements that the notification numbers to be printed on the cosmetic packages. You could refer more to the part that we mentioned on labeling for this answer as well. Question number 4. Prior to exporting cosmetics into Vietnam, do we need to get a license or a certificate for importing? And if necessary, what are the requirements to obtain it? Well, in order to import and distribute the products in Vietnam, the enterprise, as we mentioned earlier, could consider setting up a trading company that has the functions to distribute the products. Therefore, the enterprise could have the functions of dealing in trading. That's number one step. And then, prior to importing the cosmetic in Vietnam, the organizations or individuals taking responsibility for placing cosmetic product in the market need to go through the process of proclamation so that the organization or individuals will be granted the receipt number of cosmetic product proclamation by the Drug Administration Department of the Ministry of Health. And when implementing the import procedures, the enterprise will need to present to the customs authority the receipt number of the product proclamation. For details, procedures, please come back to the cosmetic product proclamation part that we presented earlier. Question number 5. As Vietnam is part of the ASEAN, electronic notification is therefore part of the cosmetic registration process. Nevertheless, a certificate of free sales can still be requested by the Vietnamese authority. What is the reason of being for such a document? Mutual recognition has no more meaning in this kind of registration process. The question continued. In the other hand, a free sale certificate is a document provided to a responsible person, the person who placed the product on the market. However, some Vietnamese officers are expecting a free sale certificate to be issued by the made-in country's authorities, which can be impossible in some cases when the responsible person has no address in such typical country. Now, can you tell us if this document is really mandatory, and if so, what should it be in terms of format for the products manufactured abroad? So, for the first point, the Vietnam competent agencies, including the Ministry of Health, the Drug Administration Department in Vietnam, have not yet implemented the procedures of electronic notification or proclamation. The process of product proclamation or notification will have to be done in papers submitted at the Office of Drug Administration in Vietnam. For the second point, in regard to the certificate of free sales, according to the Chapter 1, Article 2, Clause 19, Circular 06 of the Ministry of Health, the certificate of free sales is a certified document issued by the authority agency in the export country for the export trader, stated in the CFS, stated in the certificate of free sales, to confirm that the cosmetic is freely produced and sold in the export country. The export trader may be the manufacturers or the traders, not the manufacturers. So the export company could be the manufacturers or the traders. The certificate of free sales is mandatory in Vietnam. In Vietnam, the government authority will need to be shown with a certificate of free sales. For the procedure of proclamation, the organizations or individuals who are responsible for placing the imported cosmetic product into Vietnam shall be the organization or individuals who registered for business of trading in the competent agency of Vietnam. There must be a company that have the functions to import and sell the cosmetic products in Vietnam. There must be a trading company, and they must present the certificate of free sales to the competent agency. Hope that answered the question. Question number 6. What activities will be taken during the post-market surveillance in Vietnam? By whom? Would they inspect some documents of the product? And yes, and if yes, what documents are? Our answer is the authority in Vietnam will be checking and inspecting the compliance of laws and regulations on the cosmetic production and trading. They will be inspecting the compliance of principles and standards of cosmetic good manufacturing practice of the ASEAN Southeast Association Nations, CGMP ASEAN, or the equivalents which are admitted by the ASEAN Cosmetic Associations. They will be checking the label writing. They will be checking the product information file, and they will also be checking the cosmetic advertising registrations. And the authority who will be inspecting are: number 1, the Cosmetic Quality Checking Central Agency, the Drug Administration Department of the Ministry of Health, or the authority could be the local Cosmetic Quality Checking Agency or the Health Department of the city or the provinces. For the documents of the product to be inspected, Those are the documents we mentioned under product information file. And now we would like to remind that those are involving 4 parts. Part number 1, they will be checking the administrative documents and a summary of product. Part number 2 will be the documents in regard to the material quality. Part number 3, there will be the documents in regard to the product quality. And part number 4 will be the documents in regard to the safety and efficiency. And those, out of those 4 part of documents, part 1, which are the administrative documents and a summary of product, they must be immediately presented to the agency who are checking when required. And other part, documents in part 2, part 3, part 4, they must be presented within 15 or 60 days since the date of inspecting. Alright, as we bring our presentation to a close, we once again thank you for your participation and hope that this activity has given you a much clearer understanding of cosmetic regulations in Vietnam. We would like to welcome the opportunity to work with you in the future, and you could contact us by sending email to ant@antlawyers.vn or visit us at worldwideweb.antlawyers.vn, or you can call us at +84 8352 02779. Thank you and have a good day.